Okay, so today we are talking about chapter 4.7, which is all about multiplying decimals. We've been working our way to this point, right? First we started by multiplying decimals times whole numbers, and we drew pictures, we used place value, we used properties. Remember, we used the distributive property. And then we moved on to multiplying decimals times decimals, but we used a model to help us. Remember, and then we used base 10 blocks to even further model that multiplication. Today, we are going to learn how to multiply decimals without using a model. Okay? And our learning goal for the day is to be able to place the decimal point in the correct place. It really should place the decimal point correctly in the decimal multiplication, right? Because could you just randomly draw a decimal point anywhere? Yeah. You guys all already know how to randomly draw a decimal point anywhere, right? Today's goal is to place the decimal point in the correct place. Okay? Okay. So, you can use what you have already learned about patterns and place value to place the decimal point in the product when you multiply two decimals. Okay, let's take a look at this first instance right here, first problem. We have two factors, 1 times 1/10. How many factors have decimals in them? When you look right here, how many factors have decimals in them? Lots of you are showing me the one hand, one, right? So you'll notice that there's one decimal factor here and one number after the decimal point in the product. Let's take a look at this second equation here. How many decimal factors do you see? How many decimal factors do you see? Lots of you are showing me two fingers. You have 1/10 times 1/10. So both of those factors have decimals in them. How many numbers after the decimal point do you see in this factor? There's one number, right here. How many numbers do you see after the decimal point here in this factor? Also 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. And what do you notice about how many numbers are after the decimal point in the product? There's 2. Okay. Let's take a look at this last number sentence down here. 100th times 1/10 equals 1,000. The first factor, 100th, how many numbers are after the decimal point, or to the right of the decimal point? 2, okay. And how many numbers are to the right of the decimal point here in the second factor? 1, okay. What's 1 plus 2? 3. What do you notice about the product? How many numbers are after the decimal point, or to the right of the decimal point? Joseph? 3. Yeah, I see 1, 2, 3. What patterns are you noticing? Go ahead and talk with your table group. For the first factor of 100th, if I move the decimal point 2 times to the right, I get a whole number, right? What whole number do I get? 1. And I'm thinking in my head, in order to move it 2 spaces to the right, I had to multiply it by what? 100. Okay. So now I have 1. And for the bottom factor of 1/10, how many places to the right do I have to move my decimal point? Siddharth? But I move it 1 space to the right, and I'm thinking in my head, what I'm really doing is I'm multiplying by 10. What's my new whole number once I move the decimal point? 1. Okay. Now I can do my whole number multiplication. 1 times 1 is? 1. But is that my real answer? Did I have to multiply and move the decimal points before I did my whole number multiplication? Yeah. So now what do I have to do? I have to undo it. Okay, so let's undo this one first in blue. I originally moved it to the right, which is this way for you guys, 2 spaces, by multiplying it by 100. So what do I have to do to my answer to undo that? What would I have to do? Karan?
Multiply by 0.01.
Yeah, I originally moved it 2 spaces to the right, so now I need to move it 2 spaces to the left. Okay, so originally my decimal point is here. I'm moving it 1 space to the left and 2 spaces to the left. What do I need to put here to make it complete? Adam? A 0. Okay. So I undid this one. I still need to undo this one, though. I also moved it 1 space to the right for the second factor. So what do I need to do again? Move it 1 more space to the left. Okay. And I have an empty space here, so what do I need to put there? 0. So my final answer, so I undid this one now. Did I undo every multiplication I did originally?
Yes.
Yeah, so now my final answer is 0.001, otherwise known as 1,000. So here's the problem. A male leopard seal is measured, okay, so we measured a male seal, and has a length of 2.8 meters. A male elephant seal is about 1.5 times as long. Which one's longer, by the way? The elephant seal or the leopard seal? How much longer is it? Okay, so the question's asking what length is the male elephant seal? So we know that the leopard seal is 2.8 meters and that the elephant seal is 1.5 times or 1.5 times as long. The question's asking us to find out how long is the elephant seal. What math problem would we do to find this out, to find out the answer? Daniel?
It says about, so you would round to the
No. So in this case, it says about because it's telling you that the 1.5 is about how long? It could be 1.45678 times as long, but for simplicity's sake, they're telling us 1.5 times as long. So you are not going to round. What else would you do to solve this problem? Ariel?
You need to do the length of the male leopard seal,
Okay, the length of the seal, or the leopard seal, which is 2.8 meters.
times the 1.5.
Yeah, because the elephant seal is 1.5 or 1.5 times the length of the leopard seal, which is 2.8. So to solve this problem, we do 2.8 times 1.5. Your step 1 in multiplying, thank you to those of you who are taking good notes. Those of you who aren't, you're not learning right now, so make sure you take good notes. The first step, and I want you to write this down, step 1, multiply as if they were whole numbers. Right now I have two decimal factors, 2.8 and 1.5. How do I change them to become whole numbers? Siddharth?
So first we need to make 2 and 8 tenths a whole number.
Yeah.
And we need to move it one space to the right.
In order to turn 2.8 into a whole number, we need to move the decimal point one space over to the right.
We should multiply by 10.
Okay.
And do the same thing to 1.5.
We also move the 1.5 decimal point over one space to the left, or sorry, to the right. So in total, with these factors, how many times did I move my decimal point? 2. I moved it one time for 2.8 and one time for 1.5. So I moved it 2 spots to the right in total, right? Now that I have whole numbers, what's my new equation? What's my new equation? Liam?
28 times 15.
28 times 15. Okay. Can we do this multiplication? Of course we can. We start with the ones. 5 times 8 is? 40. We'll write a 0 and bring the 4 over to the tens place. 5 times 2 is? 10 plus 4 is?
14.
Okay. Then I'll write a 0 here to show that we're working with the tens now. 1 times 8 is?
8.
1 times 2 is?
2.
Okay, and then we add this together. 0 plus 0?
0.
4 plus 8?
12.
Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is?
4.
Okay, so my answer is 420. So that means that the length of the elephant seal is 420 meters long. That's a very long seal, my goodness. Arushi?
You have to convert it back into decimals because we multiplied by 10 to get a whole number so that we could multiply quickly, and then we have to turn it back into decimals.
So you're telling me because I moved my factors 2 decimal places all together to the right, I need to undo that. So how do I undo that? What do I need to do? Shreya?
You need to divide. Well, if you want to take it step by step, you could do divide by 1/10.
Okay, because I first move it one spot because over here I moved it one spot to the right.
And then we have to acknowledge the 1.5.
And then I did it again down here, right? So I have to move it again to the left. So in total, because in my factors I moved it 2 spots to the right altogether, for my product, final product, I need to move it how many spots to the left? 2. So my final answer, the elephant seal, is how long, Adam? 4.2 meters long. And thank you for remembering the units. So let's first estimate. This first factor, 7.8, if I had to turn that into a whole number, what would that round to? What's the nearest whole number? Harshita?
8.
Okay, it's pretty close to 8. And then, so I guess I did not record any of that. But because we knew that the estimation was 24, we knew if we could place the decimal point in between the 4 and the 3, then that would give us the correct answer that's in the zone. Okay?